Now let's look at the API layer. I have an HTTP API created in API Gateway. Here are the four routes the front end calls: post tasks, get tasks, put tasks, delete tasks. All of these routes are integrated with the same Lambda function, serverless-to-do-app-router. When I open a route and look at the authorization settings, I can see the Cognito JWT authorizer is applied. Here's the authorizer configuration. It's set up to accept tokens in the authorization header as a bearer token, validate against the Cognito user pool in US-E-2, check the audience matches our SPA app client ID, extract the user ID from the subclaim and pass it to the Lambda in the request context. This is where the security gate is no valid JWT, no Lambda invocation. Here's the Lambda function. Let me show you the key parts of the code. At the top, the function reads the table name environment variable. That's to-do tasks, and it creates a DynamoDB document client. The handler function receives the HTTP request and extracts HTTP method and path from the request context.http, user ID from the request context.authorizer.jwt.claims.sub, requests the body if present, then it routes based on the method and path. For post tasks, it validates that the task description is provided, generates a UUID for the task ID, and it writes an item to DynamoDB with user ID, task description, completed, and timestamps. For get tasks, it queries DynamoDB by user ID, retrieves all tasks for that user, sorts them by creation date, and returns them as JSON. For put tasks, it builds a DynamoDB update expression to update the task description and/or completed status, always refreshing the updated at timestamp. For delete, it simply deletes the item by user ID and task ID. Notice the table name environment variable is set to to-do tasks. This is referenced in the code so the table name doesn't need to be hard-coded. The Lambda execution role has two policies. One, AWS Lambda Basic Execution Role allows writing logs to CloudWatch. Two, a custom inline policy that grants DynamoDB permissions only to the to-do task table, and only for put, update, get, delete, and query actions. This is least privilege. Lambda cannot access any other table or service.